I think unfortunately in the media business and the advertising business overall, everything's gotten, broken apart, and people don't look at the whole. They try to look at their little individual pieces. And I found with multiple clients where they're looking at their CRM programs aren't working anymore, but they've divorced it from the fact that their media programs and what they've asked from the media agencies at a CPM perspective has driven the cost so low that they can't do anything but click farm from a publisher. And people don't look at the aggregate of marketing anymore, and I think it's really important to start thinking about the broader KPIs of sales or intent, purchase intent, proving out brand equity improvement versus just looking at these little individual pieces that aren't connected anymore.
So tell us a little bit about in understanding audiences. There's a debate between deterministic and probabilistic. Where do you stand? What's your view on that?
So I'm for both, right? I mean, not everybody has a panel size that is census level, and you've got to be able to move between projecting out at the census level or understanding who has a census level panel and how to connect the dots between the two. And the trick is understanding how to make the two work together versus an either or comparison. When our clients are thinking about consumer data that they're holding on to, it really varies on a market by market basis because there's different levels of governance on a market by market basis of what you can do. But overall, I think it's interesting to think about it from the client perspective, but also the consumer perspective, because a lot of the consumers, especially millennials, have grown up with the concept of a free internet that they get on mobile devices. So they're not as concerned of behavioral data or different demographic points of data being shared or utilized. When you start getting into purchase data or longitudinal, long-term data relative to CRM, there gets to be some concerns, and so we have to handle on the client-by-client basis. But what I typically advise our clients on is not really the data, it's more the infrastructure. So I advise our clients that they should own their own DMP, let the agencies operate it, and have it be fully transparent. I mean, at the end of the day, I think clients need to own their own ad tech stacks, and agencies need to start being adept enough to operate on top of those investments. And that, for me, is the most important thing, because then a client owns essentially their data manifest destiny without the agencies essentially handling any of the data. I look at the agency business, the media agency business, as having three estates. The first estate, to use unfortunately a US government metaphor, was investment. We were born by aggregating all the investments together across multiple clients and using that as a black book to go to the market. Second estate became strategy. Third estate, that's not really talked about that much, is orchestration. And I think we are starting to come to grips with how we use orchestration as a practice area. And everything then evolves around it. So strategy then becomes more inducive, if you will, of creating custom audiences and syndicating them out across multiple platforms. Investment becomes more around activating private marketplaces or guaranteed marketplaces, and then this orchestration layer of how we decision inventory is the new estate in the media agency. And I don't think we've come to grips with the fact that we are not just planning and buying anymore, that technology and data has created this layer of orchestration that we're starting to come to grips with, and how that lives within an agency is something new. I think we were created in the era of programmatic, so I'm used to CRM colliding with addressable media channels and how you create currencies off audience data that are triggered by that. And it's not anything super sophisticated. For one of our clients, we only have two, we are using their first-party data to suppress advertising to current customers, linking CRM to addressable media. But why would you try to sell to your current customer base if you've already maximized their lifetime value in their products? Simple orchestration-oriented rule, but something people often overlook. And it's interesting being, kind of happening here. So my background, I'm a brand planner by trade for technology. I started, my first assignment was working on the commercial launch of DSL, which was the basis of the internet, if you will. And then I got to work on mobile devices and everything after that. And now we're in an era where all these different disconnected practice areas of media and CRM and creative and data have collided, almost like, the singularity of marketing. And that is hearts and science.